So welcome back to the next part of creating a fancy RPG scene. And last time we created this sort of crazy splash shader. What we're going to do this time, for the most part, is going to create, I just want a little particle effect to look like the splashes of water coming off here. But before I do that, what I was thinking is just to blend this part in a little bit more. I'm just going to use this shader again. Maybe get like a cylinder, for example. I'm going to make it quite long and rotate it into place, if I can click properly, and I'm just going to put the material on it. So we've got like a little bit behind underneath there, but ultimately if we try and find like the right position for this, we can sort of scale it how we want to, and that will ultimately give us sort of a nicer blend. Or we can try looking at like other shapes. Like I know that there's a nice sort of platform in here, which is just sort of your basic sort of shape like that. It's got nice smoother edges though, so it won't look as rough there. And I'll just like loosely mix it in a bit more. Like I said, I'm just trying to subtly put that in, mix that in, and at a distance that should look alright. I'm going to just shrink it down a bit as well on the sides. Maybe give it a bit more width and just try and find the right rotation point. Cool. Ultimately, I'm just going to use that for now, because if I deselect that at a bit of a distance, it should look alright. I'll blend that in a bit better soon. But for now, let's focus on actually getting a particle effect going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click and create a new particle system. I'm going to call this Waterfall Speckles, drips, I don't really know what to. Waterfall Splash Particles, even though it's not really a splash particle. Waterfall Splash underscore party. Let's open that up. Cool, so this is going to be our particle effect, and I always like to put it just in my scene as well, so I like to see both at the same time. Okay, so before we do this, actually, we're going to need to create a new material. Drip mat, and all this is going to be mostly white with a tint of blue, which I'm going to multiply with a radial gradient. There we go. Mix you with you. You'll get there, and let's say to additive as well. And this should just give us a nice little circle. Good, there we go, nice little circle. And in our thing, we're going to spawn these. So let's grab our drip mat and put it in here. So now the first thing we're going to want to do, well, we could really start anywhere, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change the location. So could do cylinder, offset, sphere. Let's do a cylinder. And what this is going to do is it's going to give us a nice sort of range. I'm going to put it that way facing because I want my particles to come out towards me. And you know what? No. Yeah, that'll be fine. I'm just going to give these shaders a second to compile. Cool, so now our shaders are, still pretty much done, we can see them. I'm not actually going to use a cylinder. I'm going to I'll do the initial location. And I'm going to click the draw so I can see where we're going to be. And if we go into here, what we want to do is create a line. If I create the line the wrong way, I have indeed. So let's set you back to 0 and let's set you to 100. There we go, now we've got that line. Let's get our camera in the right place. So we're going to want to go a lot more than that. So maybe about 500, given like the width of my scene. And what we're going to do as well is let's add some randomness to the sizes. So I'm going to go 40, oops, so pressing caps lock, 40, 40, 40 by, yeah, we'll do 25 by 25 by 25, that's fine. And the lifetime, we're going to want to, again, add a bit of random to that, but just overall, just boot that up a bunch. So let's go 6 and 9. And that's going to give us a lot more. These are going to be built for a lot longer. Maybe the drops are too big, but we'll find tweaks soon. So now what we want to look at is some velocity. We're probably going to do velocity over life. So what we're going to want is we're going to want an initial push out and then a drop. So we want a sharp and a decline. So 2 rate points. So this will be at about 2 seconds, and then this one will be at 0 seconds. That's fine. And let's experiment by putting you up here. So that's giving us the shoot out, but at the moment we've not got the drop down. So again, let's go 100 here. Oh my god. Let's have a quick look at our initial velocity. Let's do a just do a constant on this and set them all to 10. Okay, so we're getting a whole lot of shootouts out. So that's a good start. So let's go back and start tweaking our velocity of life. So all we're doing is we're just going to play with these values a little bit. So we're just looking at our up value. We want an initial sort of like up splash, sort of like upwards trajectory. To make this easier to see, to make this easier to view, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly change the material. So I might just say it's like this dark green. Nope, that's not going to work. Dark red, which hasn't worked either because obviously I'm set to additive. So let's switch that back to opaque. Awesome. Now we can sort of see what we're working with a little more. Alright, so going back into our particle effect, we're going to play a bit more of this velocity over life. Let's just reposition our particle effect a little bit. Yeah, it's looking better. Okay. So this is just going to be sort of a lot of fine tweaking for a bit. Just trying to get the values just right. So I'm going to be experimenting, I think, playing with my different axes. And we'll find the right balance. I mean, it's looking alright. It's looking alright. It's two shooting off in the wrong direction. Let me just reposition that. That's definitely coming out way too far though. Some of these splashes are way too far. And I might tweak my initial velocity. You know what, let's keep playing with the velocity of a life for now. And I'll change that later. So I think it's maybe not falling down fast enough if I add more initial velocity. And it's coming all the way down, which looks quite good. But we don't want it to go that far, so let's change our lifetime. So what we want is really sort of like the splashes to stop before we get to the bottom. And again, just tweaking, trying to find the right balance. I did not want to adjust the Y. Actually, the Y was what was sending the particle effect left. Let's have a look at that spawn. I think we can do spawning more in. So we're only spawning 20 in. 40 should give us a better effect. But the lifetime is way too long because, as you can see, the particles are coming through the floating island and they're underneath. So let's try this. Nope, they're still going. Lower, let's try lower. And they're still going. Holy crap. I do not want them to go all the way down there. And they're still going. Oh my god, the velocity on these must be crazy. Let's just test by just going over to the bottom just for sanity. Okay, cool, so that's sort of stopped it. Alright, so I'm going to bring those back up, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to manually tweak the velocity until I get this right. So I'm going to have to bring it down my second part just to get the right mix. And as you can see now, these are basically just falling vertically straight down. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the scroll on this just to try and find the right mix. Ultimately they're looking a little bit fast at the moment, so let's just go back to basics, pretty much go back to 0 and build upon this until we're happy. And like I say, just play with the numbers until I'm happy. That's looking good for initial out. Okay, so I'm going to change my initial velocity so I've got a bit more sort of seemingly random. So let's go 13, 13, 7, 7, 7. That should give us a bit more sort of variation now. Let's continue playing with this velocity of a life. Alright, this mix is starting to come together a little bit. I feel like we're getting close now. We're definitely getting close to numbers that we're happy with. Just going to increase the lifetime bit because with the new velocity we're not really going that far down. Possibly got too much up on that as well. But for now, let's just lower the distance out. And that's looking pretty cool, right? That's looking pretty cool. Let's set our material, back to normal, which is sort of like a bright blue, back to additive, and let's give this thing a little look-see. Alright, that's looking pretty cool. Just gonna drop the size of it because we don't want the little splashes, the drips, to be this big. Could possibly even drop a little bit more the size. Now, we want to be able to see it from a distance, but we don't want it to look ridiculous. Alright, that's a lot better. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. Just trying to find the right balance. And just tweaking the velocity so I've got a little bit more left and right. And let's see what this looks like in full screen, shall we? Let's get a nice good view in it and have a little look-see at what we've created. So at a distance we can see a couple of splashes, we can see those little drips going on, and it just makes the whole thing look a little bit more dynamic, which is kind of cool. So I'm happy with it there. What about if we were to get a bit closer? How's it look from closer? Looking pretty nice there, especially once we put our splash next to that, our effects, which I might have to tweak that shader a bit for where it connects. But ultimately, yeah, there we go. We've got our particle system, and now we can just place that on all three waterfalls if we wanted. And I'm happy with that. Hopefully you've found that useful, and let's keep going this. Next time, maybe do like a boat or a house, have some kind of elements in our scene. But ultimately, yeah, once again, as always, thanks for watching.